Our first story comes from a gentleman calling himself Mr. E. I have a story to tell. So tonight I was almost a victim of a romance scam. I met a young woman on Instagram. Her name was Olivia, and she was the most beautiful woman I ever saw in her pictures, which I later found out they were stolen from an erotic model named Katie Banks. We started messaging back and forth, asking me the usual questions like how are you doing, where are you from, the usual, and she said I was a very handsome young man, and she wanted to get to know me better and try for a relationship. And I told her I barely know you and wanted to take things slow. But later on she fell in love with me very quickly, and I thought that was odd, but long story short, I asked her if she wanted to video chat. But she said her camera wasn't working well, and I accepted this. She also wanted me to send her money so that she could come visit me in my state because she was from New York and I live in Georgia. And I told her I'll see what I can do, but anyway, I'll cut to the chase. I noticed something was fishy. I went on Google and did a reverse image search and found out the pictures were stolen from Katie Banks. She's a famous YouTuber who does modeling, so needless to say I ended up blocking her and reported her profile to Instagram. Thank you for letting me tell my story, and stay safe on the internet. Thank God I didn't give her my phone number, because that would have been bad. Story number 2 comes from a gentleman named John. I met Angelina on a dating site. She was beautiful. I'm 22 years old and never really had a serious relationship except for my high school girlfriend, and we broke up right after graduation. I work in a grocery store as a courtesy clerk, just making my way through until I can decide if I want to go to trade school to work as a plumber. School wasn't always for me, so college was not something I wanted, to be clear. When we first talked, she was very flirty. She asked my age, location, if I was married or had a girlfriend and kids. I answered no, and I told her I was 21 at the time and I live in Cleveland, Tennessee. She said she was from New York but was studying abroad in London. She sent me 4 or 5 pictures of herself during our chat, and she asked me to send one of myself taken live right then and there. So I snapped a pic on my phone and sent it to her. We ended up chatting with each other over on Telegram, and we chatted there for hours. We did exchange phone numbers, and hers was a +44 country code. We added each other on WhatsApp too. She said she was going to school to take up cosmetology and to work for the BBC in London doing hair and makeup for a British television show shortly after her graduation. I told her my plans, and she said I was making a good choice, but I should come and visit her in London. Everything moved fast, and she wanted to be my girlfriend. I guess I never thought much into the situation and just loved that this beautiful blonde woman wanted to be with me. She told me she was 23. We started this online thing, and my days were filled with saving and working to buy an airline ticket to London to meet her. We chatted on the phone. Her voice was soft and quiet. She said she was very shy, so we only voice chatted about a dozen times. We mostly texted in the app. She asked me several times for iTunes cards, and I would buy them for her. She said she was a struggling student, and I get that because I'm struggling to pay my bills while working my job. But I wanted to provide something for her. But as it kept going, she would ask for more cards. It got up to one point buying $200 a week in cards, which was about half of my paycheck. I told her I couldn't afford these iTunes cards anymore, and maybe I could buy her 1 or 2 here and there. She became upset with me and told me that I wasn't a strong man or a strong provider, that she thought I was, and she ended up blocking me. I spent days heartbroken, but then she unblocked me and messaged me that she'd been in a terrible accident and was at the hospital, and the doctor wouldn't do surgery on her legs until she paid the $3,000 in hospital bills that were due. She begged me to send the money. I told her I'd pray for her, but I don't have $3,000. I then received a phone call from a number I did not know. It was a man who said he would find me and throw me in jail if I didn't send the money to her. I blocked the number after hanging up and decided to check out her photos online, which I probably should have done in the first place. It turned out she's a pretty famous film actress, and I was duped for months. But at least I didn't take out loans and send the $3,000 that she asked for. Thanks for listening. We'd like to thank these two guys for sharing their stories. So often we hear women that are involved as victims of romance scams, but it does happen to guys too, and it happens quite often. Unfortunately, guys don't always come forward with their stories. So if you'd like to share your story and you've encountered a romance scammer, whether you've sent money or not, we would love to hear it and verify your story. You can send us an email at scammingscammers@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook currently under the page Scamming Scammers Cyber Education. You can remain anonymous, or you can have your name changed, or just edit it to keep yourself totally safe and anonymous. Again, thanks for sharing, and until next time, stay safe.